No problem. Hey, this hangout is on air, is live. I say that wrong every time. But I'm going to read, I'm here with Alan, and I'm going to read Matthew 5:3-10. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So, Alan Spencer with Flattening Atheism.
Yep. Hey, real quick, where is the verse, if you might happen to know, of the one where Jesus talks about woe to the ones who turn people, or who deceive, or woe to the ones who
that deceive children.
Yeah.
Whatever, basically. I think, is that in Matthew?
It sounds like that's what I had in mind. Let's see. Do you know?
Like somewhere by Matthew 10 somewhere, maybe. Because I was just, for some reason, I just read that not too long ago. I could probably look for it all day though, because I start looking for something, and then I get on this tree of searching. But I know which one you're talking about. It would be better. It's not a good thing to deceive children.
Yeah,
I can look some of that stuff up, unless if you want to.
No, go ahead. I'll just talk for a little bit while you're looking it up. So
okay, I'll keep looking it up, but yeah, go ahead.
So for everyone watching, I was in my principal's office a little while ago, about a month ago or so, and we were just having a meeting about, a conference about something, and I saw this book up on her shelf, and it's called 101 Questions Children Ask About God. And I have small children, and they ask me, well, at least one so far is talking. The other two are too young to really be having conversations, but they will be soon. But children talk and ask all kinds of funny questions about God and the nature of creation and whatnot. So I just said, hello, you want to come in and say hi? Sure. Come on in. This is Aria, everybody. And that's Joe. Say hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Aria.
You're kind of famous on YouTube, at least for some people. So yeah, can I give you a smooch? All right.
I'm watching Bible story.
Maybe a little later. Okay. Right now I'm on the interview, but yeah, we could do it later. All right.
Awesome.
There you go. Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, you keep going. I still am looking that up. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it. So anyway, I'm thinking, I'd like to just kind of crack that open and see what it says, and find out if a lot of the questions in here are questions that I've heard before, or at least can anticipate. And yeah, a little bit disappointing, I would say. I mean, in general, it's fine. It's bad, but anyway, let me just kind of go through a few of the things that I noticed. So I'll just start from page 1. So it starts with creation. Kid says, why did God create the world? And the format of the book, it gives you the answer, and it gives you some verses, or the key verses that are related to that answer, then some other verses that kind of support it in certain ways. And what's funny is when they give the supporting verses, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but that's okay. Like, they talk about Genesis 1 and then Psalm 19:1, which we all know about. But then when they reference Psalm 19:1, it doesn't sound anything like what the verse says. They just totally warped it, and so that's kind of a headache. And
like they make it fit, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad. That's what I did.
And so That's what.
I never thought about it like much.
Yeah. And so in a way, it's kind of, well, it's screwing them up. It's screwing up the answer. But let me just kind of give you a taste of it. So question is, why did God create the world? And the answer is, God created the world and everything in it because he enjoys making things and he wanted to be with us. God created people because he wanted to have friends, men and women, boys and girls, with whom he could share his love. He created the world for them to live in and enjoy. And now I get it. This book is geared to give answers that are, watered down and childlike, and that's totally fine. That's not the part that bothers me. But and that's fine. So that okay, I got to the first one. I said, okay, whatever. And then so let me just give me one quick second here. So
No rush.
Then you turn
No
a few
rush
pages. Yeah. You turn a few pages and it talks about other stuff that's
I found that verse.
If God. Oh, good. Go for it.
It was chapter 18 in Matthew, verse 6. I think this is the one you were talking about. Or maybe it's 2 verses here. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe unto the world because of offenses. Oh, okay, that's not. I think that was the one you were talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah, where was that again? 18.
That was Matthew 18, verse 6.
Verse 6.
Oh, wait, maybe verse 5 too, I guess. Verse 4. I should have read verse 3. Okay. Verse 3, it says, and he said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. Wow. That says a whole lot to me right now. Like I have this creepy feeling, not creepy feeling, but the feeling I get all that I've gotten for a few years now. And like everything I say is the opposite of what people want to hear. And I have this heavy feeling right now because I'm seeing something that I'm not even, I don't understand what I'm seeing enough to even really talk about it much. But like being born again, man, I think we've misunderstood what that is. And, that it raises a lot of questions, what I'm wondering about, like the people that have died recently. And I don't know. I'm just saying that I have this uncomfortable feeling that I get every time that I end up having to say something, you know what I mean? Like a lot of things that I have to say, people get upset about, or they don't receive it well. But yeah, that's it.
Well, continuing on forward, at least with that passage. So here's verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Now, of course, at this particular moment, he's talking about if the child already believes in him. But I would consider the same thing as if they haven't gotten as far yet to believe in you, and you still, send them on a different direction, it's just as bad. It's got to be just as bad.
Yeah.
So woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. And then when you get to verse 8, wherefore if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. And if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes and be cast into hellfire. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold thy face of my Father which is in heaven. That's that's a neat honor to have.
Yeah,
when you're a child, that's one of those things that's just the kind of twisted upside down, I guess you would say, logic, that the kids are the ones that rule up in heaven, the small children.
What's important to that? That's I just wanted to add, it's important that we realize that what do kids go by? What do children go by? They go by what the world that they're experiencing. They're seeing this world and they're learning, and it's this world that you can touch it, you can feel it, you can go out the front door and see it.
Yep.
And that's the world that we do live in. And this science has gotten us into an idea of turning it into an image of something like it's like a ball, or it's a flat disc or something like that. That's just not what it is. It's what we experience with our senses. Sorry.
Yeah. So here's another question that comes up in this book. And so I'm reading this and I'm thinking about these kind of passages in the Bible talking about, even if the author of this book wasn't, of course, deliberately trying to deceive small children, now that we have this information out, I would say this passage applies to them. You would say, wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, or if now what you know, and you're still pumping this out and telling kids, for example, did God make people in outer space? Is one question.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself when I'm reading this, like, well, I'll get to that in a second. So the answer is
that's a great one. Like,
yeah,
those do go through a child's head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, first of all, it would never go through a child's head if space was never taught to them.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And the fact that outer space never once comes up in the Bible is sort of like saying, well, how does God protect us from the spaghetti monster? It's just now we have to invent this whole other new world and this new realm of this stuff that doesn't exist.
Ragu land or something.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, but yeah.
So the answer that they give is, although people may talk about creatures in outer space, that's, look at that. Although people, not God, but although people may talk about creatures in outer space, no one really knows whether there is life on other planets. Red flag number 2. Most of the talk about other life forms comes from make-believe movies and what people imagine might be true. But if there is life in other parts of the universe, God is in charge of it because God is in charge of the whole universe. Well, no, duh. No one's disputing that point. But they're not really offering any meat and potatoes actual answers. This is the obvious.
I don't know.
Yeah. This is the obvious atheistic tap dancing that I went through for 3 decades on why I wouldn't honor the words of the Bible, is because of answers like this all through my childhood. So God created everything, and he is the God of all life everywhere, no matter where it may be. In which, if you're speaking to someone who doesn't believe in God or who's still kind of confused about it, you're just giving them irritation. You're just giving them a headache when you give an answer like that. So here's the key verse that they use to support it. Christ created everything in heaven and earth. He created the kings we can see and the things we can't see. All kings and kingdoms, rulers and powers were made by Christ. He made them for his own use and glory. Colossians 1:16.
Hello. Can I watch a Bible story with Mama?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right. And then, of course, they use Genesis 1:1 and 1 Chronicles 29, and this is about people in outer space. So it's sort of taking this far out, huge, generic, like broad stroke over, over everything, and saying, well, we're going to answer this oddball question that has never really been proven in the first place. It's just annoying. So here's the next question. How does God make the sun and moon go up and down? And so the answer is, God made powerful laws to govern the universe. 2 Jude 3:33. You know what I mean? So, that's just, anyway. These laws control the movements of the sun, moon, earth, and other planets and stars. For example, one law called gravity draws objects towards each other. Now, right now is just, there you go. Not only is it not biblical at all, that's not even scientific. So Other natural laws control the weather. Many forces determine whether the day will be sunny or cloudy or warm. And remember, the question was, why does the sun go up and down? Not, pump in a bunch of other irrelevant nonsense about weather. So that goes on for a while. Now, here's the key verse that they use to support it is Psalm 19:1, which they say is, the heavens are telling the glory of God. They are a great display of what God can do.
That's, to be honest, I mean, that's a good answer. I mean, the last part.
Absolutely. I mean, using that as the verse, but not only are they changing 19:1 and not making that clear, they're taking what would have been supporting actual biblical creation, and they're using it to support this nonsense that's above it.
Well, and that's so easy to do. Do you know what I mean? It's so easy to do because I guess what I'm saying is this idea that we've been on a globe has it. You know how people say it's a 500-year-old conspiracy? No. That if we think, here's why, because the thing that's doing the defiling, the thing that's getting that it's worshiping, and I don't mean bowing down to, I just mean having it abide in your heart as truth, that those are places out there. That's all it takes. Because what did God say? Like, dude, that's one thing I want to bring up actually, now that I'm Isaiah 66 verse 1 is like a great bit of information and like a test, a question with the answers and everything right in it, pretty much. 66 1. Thus saith the Lord. So this is like the class. Ready? Take notes. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. Class, go home. Test tomorrow. Okay, here's the test. Where is the house that you build unto me? Where is the place of my rest? Can you answer the question? Because that's what, when we're born, like when we start realizing any of these things, like probably like your boys, how old are they? About 2, did you say?
Just turned 2.
So they're pretty young. Like, but like I know you, and so what I'm saying is I know that they're gonna be growing up like for the first time in a long time. I guess what I'm saying is those planets, my understanding is they didn't come out at their proper times. Like, when did that happen? I don't know, but I'm guessing it happened a long time ago, like maybe right away. I don't know though. I'm just saying that Enoch seems to blame everything on those 7 planets in a way, as far as defiling mankind. That in Enoch 19, it says the angels would be standing there where those 7 planets are, or wandering stars, because he explains, or Uriel explains it as a prison. And it is a prison. And then John in Revelation backs all those things up that Enoch said, and Uriel, like, I think that Uriel is one of the angels in Revelation that does a lot in there, and it just doesn't give his name. But that's my opinion. But it's because of the things that are said in there. They're said just like they were to Enoch. Some of the things, like the 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, like that's the like Enoch talk. What to me, they were both in a prison for John, it was a habitation of devils and a hold of every foul spirit and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. That's heaven above that, though. That's where they're going. And so what I'm seeing, and I just have to be honest, because I don't know anything more than anybody else knows, but I believe that they are just going into the celestial realm. It like no man ascended up to or ascendeth up to heaven. I don't want to word it wrong. What Jesus said in John 3. And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man, which is in heaven. And what I'm thinking is that God's sending strong delusion. Like if they want to go to Mars, that might just happen. What I'm saying is like that the astronauts that are going to the moon, I don't think I guess what I'm saying is they're not going anywhere. It's just a powerful, because it's celestial, like the ISS. Okay, if we launch a rocket and we go up to the ISS and it docks with the ISS, all that's doing is that's just God allowing that to happen. Because I'm saying that the devils or the fallen angels, they're doing that. Whether either it has to be that all the astronauts are like fallen angels, like in different form, already manifest as humans, or I mean to look like us or whatever. That's a possibility, but I think it's more likely that they're just fooling us invisibly. Like they're not, they've just seduced us to be like, wow, there's another world up there. Let's get up there. Let's go there. And then it's definitely supernatural, but the spirits of the kings of the Medes, they're the ones that end up casting the stars down. And that's in Jeremiah 51. It kind of gives a little explanation of that. Verse 11 in Jeremiah 51.
I think it's all done in a Hollywood studio still.
Well, and that's the thing, is that then we would have to have people involved.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like, I'm not saying that people can't be involved, but I'm seeing it as I'm just seeing it as a different, I guess what I'm saying is you can't fake all that. And I don't think in Hollywood, you could make movies, you know what I mean? You could make movies, but this movie has to coincide with reality, according to my camera, according to your camera in California. What I'm saying is it has to jive. I'm not saying necessarily physically, like, because that could just be a light flying over, but I've zoomed in on it and it's a light that looks exactly like the ISS, stuff like that, where I'm not saying that it's fake necessarily, but it could be just a fallen angel taking the form that looks like that. And that the rockets, that people don't get on them and it's a deception on the ground. It could be something like that. But I can
see that.
And the thing is that if it's like all this CGI and stuff, there has to be someone sitting there making it. And we have ways, I guess, the way NASA releases stuff, it's hard to get to the bottom of any of it anyway. They just release what they release and that's it.
They're really bad at it. Like they're even really bad at their fake stuff.
Well, and some of it I think is like I think most of it is our eyes. And what I mean by that is that no matter what I might like put in front of someone's face and show them like solid evidence, but they're just going to laugh and be like, fake. You know what that is? To me, that's not, because people would be like, oh, that's just you, like psychologists or whatever. They would be like, oh, that's because you want it to be fake, and that all these reasons and all this stuff. No, it's more than that. It's a lot more than that. It's that we see through it, no matter what. And I guess what I'm saying is that supernatural part of you can call it a vision, because it literally is a vision. And I mean, I guess like calling these things, like if people would say, oh yeah, the flat earthers have a vision. They do. They see more. Like they see something that the rest of the world denies. But there's a lot of us.
So you're kind of suggesting like that in the firmament there might be what the first heaven, I guess you could call it, which would be the prison where everything is in there, and they've gotten inside there, so to speak, with this machine and doing stuff.
Yes. And even that part, going in that part, it is not even, it's not a place.
Yeah, it's not something you can physically go to. You gotta have the assistance of demons.
Like we can't. So they build a metal tube and somehow get it going to a certain speed anyway, any direction, horizontally. They go up 60 miles and flying horizontally, and they end up all of a sudden, oh, everything's floating. No air, no oxygen, no gravity, or, no downward, no nothing. And that's actually that video that I had sitting on there when we first got on. That video is about an astronaut, Terry Virts, I think his name is, or something like that, when he comes back, and all the stuff that happens when, dude, they're a little fireball going through that. Like there's no communications with the Soyuz capsule as it's going back down through the firmament because it's plasma around it. What I'm saying is that to get back into the earth, like, and there's images on there. Maybe I should like play a little bit of that. It's just some weird stuff that he's saying about re-entry.
Oh, I wouldn't believe a word of it anyway.
Well,
but I would guess that the only way to get up there would be through some kind of demonic assistance.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
I don't think that they're going in and back out physically, and with all the burning fire and plasma and the loss of gravity.
What about like the shuttle coming back in when people are watching it, and it's all of a sudden just straight lines of sparks and just turns to nothing. I'm saying, like, that's going 17,000 miles an hour. And what I'm saying is they're not going somewhere. Like, they're not going and orbiting the earth. They're going and they're looking down through a molten looking glass. That's why Earth looks like a sphere from up there. Because actually, I did this example on have you seen these that you put on your cell phone? Little fisheye lens?
I have seen those, yeah.
Well, just watch what happens when I put it on my camera. See how much more you can see my Bible now?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, I mean, when I look at the little icon, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to say that that's what's happening, that they're actually looking down through a piece of glass, because, you know what? Let me play a quick video out in the background here. I'll do it hopefully without, let's see here. I might have to turn the sound off. Whoops, wrong one. Let's see here. I got to find it. Well, it could be any one of these videos. Oh, can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. This is just it's just a playing over and over again. Oh, let's see here. Okay. Hopefully you can still see that.
Yeah.
That is just the separation sequence happening. This is just a rocket launch, and those two white dots that are separating from each other, that's the first and second stage. Look what that's doing to the atmosphere. There's another one. Look at how fast the gases expand. The gases are expanding outward as fast as the rocket's going forward. And what I'm saying is whatever they're doing there, it ends up in Revelation and in Daniel 8 verse 10, it ends up casting the stars to the ground. Because that's what Daniel is describing. I'm just going through some of these videos. That's the rocket when it's about to, it hasn't separate, or I'm just playing a loop right now, but those gases
Jesus mentioned something about the stars falling like the figs off of a tree, right?
Yeah. Should I read that? Let's see here.
So
go
shooting
ahead.
something into the sky might be like shaking the whole sky eventually, where all the figs drop from this tree. The same way if you go shake a tree, if you go burst through the sky and it shakes everything.
Yeah.
That's the way they might fall down.
Sorry if I'm moving around all over on the screen here.
No, that's all right.
I didn't play that thing of if you watch out the window of the Soyuz, like that's kind of why I'm thinking like that it's like that they're able to go up there. They're able to go up there, I think, but that's just I forgot to find that. Sorry. You go ahead and talk for a second. I'm going to try to find this video to play in the background.
Well, here's just another question that, kind of turned my stomach was, were there dinosaurs? This is from that book, just to catch everyone up. Were there dinosaurs on the Ark? And then the answer is dinosaurs are popular today. They're on television and in the comics. Like, well, yeah, that's why they're asking the question. Nuts. So
answer avoided.
Yeah, we even have dinosaur stuffed toys. Scientists say that these unusual animals lived and became extinct over 100 million years ago. So already, discounting the, biblical account of creation. So it's natural to wonder where they fit into the Bible. Yeah, most Bible experts believe that dinosaurs died. Okay, right there, it makes you not a biblical expert. Just before I even finish that sentence, but most Bible experts believe that dinosaurs died out many years before the great flood that we read about in Genesis. So there wouldn't have been any dinosaurs around to put on the ark. So what a nice way to just illegitimately avoid that.
Poor kid.
You just lay waste to God's word, which that goes back to the Matthew passage that we were reading before, where even if you were doing it inadvertently, how could it be that much more clear that you're just skirting this issue?
Yeah.
And so it goes on. So there wouldn't have been any dinosaurs around to put on the ark. So not only are you just laying waste to the biblical account of the 6,000 years of creation, you're just saying, well, God had all these other, animals around and just didn't feel like mentioning them, and then had an ark, and all the other animals. It says in the Bible that all the animals 2 by 2 are going on the ark. And it's impotent. It's just annoying when I read it. And so another reason we don't read about dinosaurs in the Bible is that the Bible wasn't written to tell us everything. Now that's just straight up blasphemy. That's just straight up complete disregard. And that's it's not a science textbook. That's what it says here. The Bible tells us about people and God's plan for our life. Anyway, go on.
Okay, I was just gonna show you this short clip that I found. This is a European Space Agency, and this is Alexander Gerst. I think that was his name. One of the astronauts. He just had a camera, and they knew that the Soyuz was launching, so they did a time lapse, and it was like, it's pretty interesting. But check this out. I guess I'll turn the sound on. firmament. Can you see the firmament? So
Are you talking about the bogus atmosphere that they're putting above the earth there?
well, and that's just my question is, you know how much footage there is like this? And all those stars are right, and these blinking lights on the ground are right. There's the falling booster. What I'm saying is this is just a camera stuck out the window of the ISS is what I think.
I don't know. It looks just as crappy as the 90s Star Trek Next Generation footage that I saw when I was younger. You know.
And see, that's what I'm getting at is they can't fool you even if this is real, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that's the level of the deception that I'm talking about. Oh, I got big there. Oh, there we go. And I don't know, but I guess what I'm saying is there's a lot of those, a lot of the footage that they've put out in the last few years is, to me, more than convincing. And I'm not saying that it's that space travel, and what I'm saying is that Tower of Babel, God said, oh, they can do just about anything that they want to do. I'll confound the language. Google Translate. I'm just saying. I'm just saying they're climbing into heaven.
Yeah. All right.
And they're not climbing into heaven like to God's throne. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. They're climbing into a prison for fallen angels. And well, in the end, that's what happens in Revelation anyway. In where is it? Revelation 18 verse 2. Another angel came down from heaven. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. When, like, I'm just saying, like, the kings of the earth, the dragon, the horns, you know, the committed fornications with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Come out of her, my people, for her sins have reached up to heaven. Yeah. So then what happens to Babylon? It falls. I'm just saying it falls, and it's on fire, and it falls in chunks, like hail chunks, like 75-pound size hail chunks. And or what does it call it? I can't remember what it says exactly about how big the hail is.
Yeah, it would definitely be hard to get a good grasp on unless we'd have to pick apart the Greek, you know, and find out hermeneutics and what it's referencing, because I mean Revelation's got so much of a
I know what it's referencing now. I do. I mean, I guess I'm not me, but he shows us what it is. I mean, John goes to that place, that desert place or whatever, that wilderness in the spirit. And that's where he saw Mystery Babylon. So when people are like talking about Mystery Babylon, I don't understand like more than half of the conversations that people have. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, me neither.
John saw it
more of the simpler stuff, like when you say is fallen, that we'd really have to go back and find out exactly what are they talking about, fallen as in fallen in battle, or actually falling like falling from the sky, and we wouldn't know unless we don't need to know that.
We don't need to know that, because all we need to know is that John heard an angel saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, it's become a prison for devils, or whatever, you know what I like, or habitation of devils. I'm just saying we need to just know what John heard, and the Holy Spirit does the rest. Like he showed this. He showed this. Because Mystery Babylon is riding a scarlet-colored beast.
Mm-hmm.
And the beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. And the dragon gives that beast his power,
Yep.
great authority. I'm just saying these little teeny things that are all over, they put a story together. Mystery Babylon is a prison for fallen angels. And it's up there. It's a celestial. I'm just giving you my understanding. You know, I'm not trying to argue with it, but
No,
I'm just saying that in Revelation 10, verse 7, it says, "But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets." So what I'm saying is that, and I'm even making the claim that these mysteries are revealed. And I don't think that they're going to be revealed to everybody, but I'm claiming that they're revealed. And to understand the story is really, really simple, but it's really complex. Like really, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's a lot in this, but what I'm saying is the basic story is that the whole world was deceived by, or what is it, her sorceries? By her sorceries were all nations deceived. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Now, rocketry is just wizardry, man. It's like witchcraft. Think about it. What's a rocket for? Oh, let's go to space. Have you ever seen the size of these rockets? They millions of pounds of fuel. What for? What for at all? So we can teach kids that you can't go to the bathroom in space without a machine. I mean, like, let me, maybe I can get this to play. Oh, I don't have it in there anymore. I had just kids asking questions to these astronauts on the ISS. The answers that these ISS astronauts give, I think that they're just giving their answer. Like, I don't, and what I'm saying is, yeah, they're liars, but they're not lying as people. They just are believing every bit of it. Like that it's a thing that human beings have done. Like I guess what I mean is the fallen angels, I picture it that they take the humans on a ride. Like,
yeah,
they take the rocket, it's supernatural. Whatever's happening up in heaven, it's happening because of those fallen angels making us think that it's a universe. Like the ISS. That's why that's the beast that comes up from the bottomless pit and kills those two witnesses in Revelation 11. That's that same beast. It's the ISS. It's like when I tell someone, no, the good news, Jesus showed us and we've verified it. Earth is flat. And then people are like, are you loony? Like, no, really, go look. You know, try to go look. And they're like, I can see the International Space Station with my own eyes. That's what, like, these pastors say it at the pulpit. Flat earthers are nuts. You can see the space station with your own eyes. They wonder at it when they see it. It's Revelation 17, verse 8. It says, they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that it is, or that was and is not and yet is. So that goes to the supernatural thing that I'm saying. These people are going to overcome that beast, no matter what kind of evidence you throw at them. It doesn't matter, is what I'm saying. That you can, it's in their hearts and they can see it. You can't lie to them. And what I'm saying is that this has happened now. I'm not bragging. I'm saying that it's happened. It has nothing to do with. Go ahead.
No, I was just interjecting.
Yeah, and I'm just babbling on. So I just think that.
Well, here's another little one I found just now. If you want to hear it.
Yeah, I do.
So here's another question. I was just kind of peeking through to see if anything else popped up, and one of them is, if we went high enough in the sky, would we find heaven? So
That's a good one.
Yeah, after their answer for it is, no one but God knows exactly where heaven is, but the best way we can describe its location is to say up.
That's simple and
but
true.
Of course, well, yeah, you would like to think so, but of course, back on their ninth question, they've got a picture of their little, rinky-dink, Scotch tape and roped up modeled solar system. So it would be more clear just 50 pages later to say the best way we can describe its location is up or sideways or down.
Or sideways at 17,000 miles an hour.
If you're in the US, it's sideways, and so it's such hogwash.
If you're in the North Pole, you really ain't moving very fast.
Yeah, if you're in the North Pole, then you get to go up, And that's, of course, if the person watching you out in the solar system isn't standing upside down, or it's just, it's just a complete mess.
Go ahead.
If we rode a spaceship up way out into space, we would not find heaven. It can't be seen or found by people. I'm not so sure about that. I think, if it is an actual physical location, it could literally just be up, like on the other side of all this stuff. Like it's a place that you can find, but we're just not allowed to get there. But it's saying here that
it's like a different way. It's a different kind of real, like, because we're used to physical, like weight to things and all this stuff. When they go to space, they start dying immediately. Like they just start dying. So they have to do exercise 2 hours a day. And then when they get back, they're all frail and their bones have shrunk and degenerated. Their hearts have shrunk and they don't pump enough blood, and they're like dead when they get back, and they have to like start working out to get back to where they're not dizzy and they're not like, it's what the heck are they going there for then?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, we're sending experiments up on Dragon. We're gonna have the astronauts do an experiment on some dental filling type of plastic or something that dries with a certain thing. They're going to test it in space for dental work in space, in case someone needed dental work in space. So they're going to do it. What I'm saying is, it isn't a place. It isn't anywhere but where a person is. Like, because it's the same thing as when in Jasher 9, when they had built the Tower of Babel or whatever, or they were building it, and they shot those arrows up at heaven to kill whoever was in heaven. And God was like, okay. And so he sent down the arrows covered in blood. Keep going. Mm-hmm. God says, keep going. See, yeah, you can go land on the moon. Go for it.
Yeah. Keep building your Tower of Babel sideways.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just they're just going into a different, if I'm just saying they're going nowhere. Literally.
Yeah.
It's actually hard to describe. But yeah, go ahead.
I haven't read this one yet, but here's another one. How do we know that what the Bible says is true? This is one of the questions they have near the end. And so their answer already is, the Bible is true because it's God's word, which unfortunately a couple hundred pages before didn't mention dinosaurs or anything. And just, they all came and went and died off before there was a flood, but it's God's word.
The Bible doesn't tell us everything, right?
Yeah, the Bible doesn't tell us everything we need to know. When you read the Bible, you will see that it says that it is the word of God, which is, I want to say, yeah, that's true, but that's not giving them the answer that, you're not answering this question with that. It's not relevant.
It's just a general answer,
Yeah. The Bible also says that every word in it is true, but if that doesn't convince you, Read the Bible and see for yourself that everything makes sense. When you read it, you will think this sounds right. This is true. The Bible has also proven to be true over the many hundreds of years since it was written. For example, many events predicted in the Bible have happened just as they said it would.
That's
And
good.
it's just well, yeah, but it's just unfortunate that they don't say, like what we are experiencing here in real life in creation is corroborated with the Bible, like the flat earth,
Yeah.
or the firmament, or like that's how because there's no other possible explanation for how we could be walking around on some strange flat platform, unless somebody put it here.
Yep.
And it just incompatible within the own book. They say it's true because it's God's word, and earlier they say that God's word doesn't give us everything. And if I were an atheist and I was reading this would reinforce my reticence to believe the Bible and to honor the word of God.
Yeah.
Because it's too wishy-washy and impotent. And it's too bad.
And you know what? I'm assuming that book isn't brand new, but maybe it is. I don't know. But I guess
it looks like
earlier you had mentioned like this kind of, I think you brought up sort of the situation of a person, like, I'm not trying to pick on that book. I'm just saying,
sure.
If a person wrote that book, let's use Nathan Roberts for an example. I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
But he did write a book.
Yeah.
And then especially with flat earth, as things get more revealed and like whatever, what I'm saying is that when a person learns something, and if they were writing another book like 3 years ago or now, to me, like, I actually would say that I would be proud of a person that would write the honest thing that they've learned, rather than sticking to something that they don't believe anymore, but they wrote it in their first book or something like that. And that's what everybody's going to be dealing with right now. And a lot of people won't even see it. It'll pass them right by in a split second. They won't ever think about it. Is when someone brings that up to them, they think about it for a second and they're like, stupid. And they walk, and then it's all like that. To me, I made a meme today and put it on Facebook. I like, because if we're, like just one of the buzzwords that a lot of people like to fire off at me is, no, we're saved by grace. And so I made a meme where it's that picture of Jesus like reaching down in the water, and he's got like grace in his hand. He's like, earth is flat. I just picture Peter or whoever down in the water. They're like, no, I'm waiting for Jesus. I don't want your grace. Like he's like, but I'm right here. I'm giving it to you right now. That repent, like come out of Babylon, turn away from these false gods.
Yeah, when people bring me that really annoying argument, they say, well, salvation is not about flat earth, it's about Jesus and blah blah blah. I say, yeah, salvation is, by grace through faith. And the next question that everyone's going to ask you is, what's the proof? And flat earth is proof. That's what every single atheist brings up. What's the proof that your God is true? What's the proof that this Bible is true? You're not just going to keep saying, well, it's grace, it's grace, it's grace, it's grace, it's grace. Well, you're not proving anything by, just saying it's grace.
What about these last
what it says?
Sorry, I was just saying, what about these last few years? I consider that to be grace.
Yeah. There's no other explanation. There's no other way to account for the number of people who have turned to Jesus because of the flat earth. It's not some crazy, weird, coincidental mistake.
It's a move of the hand of God, or the arm of, to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? Like, really? Because when he's doing something and he writes it in, he puts it in his word first, like, that's pretty amazing when it's a worldwide thing that we're watching happen right now. We're all seeing it happen. or hearing about it, or like anybody that is hearing this, they're going to hear about it. And I think that's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, your mic's doing that thing again.
Great.
It just started right now. Okay. Yeah. Must be his mic. Something or like a connection or something. But yeah, one thing I was gonna say before he pops back in.
The government trying to shut us down.
Yeah, there you go. You're good now.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up a verse too. Something Jesus said in John 15.
Yeah, and if you're all right with it, we'll probably have to close on this verse just because I gotta get back with the kids and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for hanging out for sure. But
yeah,
this I think is important. This is Jesus, and I'll just start in verse 22. I'll just read like 2 verses or 3 verses. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin.
mm-hmm.
He that hateth me hateth my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now they have, but now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this cometh to pass that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law, they hated me without a cause. I just see that happening right now. I see it happening right now.
Yeah.
I see most people that I know, Christians and that, friends, family, when I talk about this subject, they're appalled by it. And that's it right there. I know who showed me, and I bear witness to it with my eyes and with my senses. And I've gone out and tested it, and yeah, that's about all I got to say about it. I think we're at.
What sucks too is there are so many Christians who are incredibly frustrated with all the stuff in the world. They know that the government sucks, and they know that education sucks, and the media sucks, like just in every way possible. And we're like, why are you so resistant to this, to even just looking into the flat earth stuff? Because it just makes all of that other stuff like now you're not as frustrated with it, because it's all just a worthless piece of garbage. Like it
sets you free.
Yeah, like I think Christians that believe in Christians who believe in the globe still kind of want to work to make the government better, and they kind of want to work to get prayer back in schools, or all the nonsense that they say. And once you figure out about the flat earth, you realize don't ever even bother. Like you just
forget about school.
Yeah, don't ever even bother. It's all 150,000% worthless. Like just. I mean, that was one of my favorite things about the flat earth. Like it didn't take an incredible amount for me to flip over to it, because I was like, I already hated the government, and I hated education and the media and all that before anyway. But when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, case closed, sealed.
Truth.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I just wish I could explain to people how great it is to finally say, yeah, it's wonderful. You just got to deal with
witness to the truth.
Yeah. And I would take a guess that most Christians are more worried about other people, just for lack of a better term, making fun of them.
Yeah.
It's just so sad. Like you're worried about the persecution of blind, worldly, blind. I know I'm not supposed to use the word fools, but blind, worldly fools. Like they're just
ignorant. Like there's no other way to put it, because for 3 years we've been screaming this loud. So I'm just saying that we're going to continue. There's nothing that's going to stop us, because we're not doing it. Like it's the power. It's God that's putting it on our hearts to say these things. I mean, my life changed from I would never be interested in putting my face online or talking about anything to anybody. Yeah. I was busy working. You know what I mean? And it changed. It changed, and I know that it was God that did it. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So how's everything going for you, Alan?
Oh, it's going okay. I mean, it's busy here at the house with the young kids, and teaching is kind of a drag. I teach I teach at school like a lot of other people, and I just, once you know what you know and you're there, you just kind of like, it's a supporting my family kind of thing now, but it's fine. It's God's provisions are plenty, so I'm okay with that.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm very thankful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I know that you're a
if I could
positive.
remind you.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, if I could remind you, you can mirror that one video of the Genesis 1.
Creation. The world view of creation, right?
Yeah,
I'll do that tonight. Good idea.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But anyway, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
Oh, I don't remember exactly what I was saying. I just want people to realize that truth is being revealed right now, and it's not in my, we're not controlling this truth that we see. What I'm saying is that if people don't see it, and they're not gonna all see it, but they still need to know about it, even while they disagree with it and they don't see it, because that's gonna help a lot when I'll just say it, when the stars fall. God is an awesome God, and he loves every single one of us that he made, everybody in the world, and he doesn't want anybody to perish. He doesn't want anybody to perish.
And here's something for the Christians that are kind of getting their underwear tied in a knot about this whole issue of flat earth versus grace and what we should be talking about. You guys all saw my daughter come in earlier, and she wants to watch a Bible story, and these are things that she elects for herself, as she actually comes and petitions to watch Bible stories, which a few years ago, before this whole flat earth stuff happened, back in the days when I was pretty harsh and I was a proud person and all that stuff, I can guarantee you, I mean, one of my best friends is also my pastor. And he's kind of one of those guys that thinks, well, you need to just show everyone the love of Jesus through grace and truth, which is true. But he's more on the side of, just keep talking about the grace. And I keep telling him, like, look, it never would have mattered how many times you were forgiving to me, how many times you were gentle and peaceful. When you're dealing with an atheist who is completely closed off to the Bible because of all this deception, I can guarantee you, for me personally, and I'm very sure that it's for most atheists that I've always been around and I've always met, it will never matter how much you demonstrate that to them. They have to get that shock, that brick wall slamming them in the face, that, oh crap, I'm in some creation right now. Like, I am in this for real. Like, this is some serious
That's what
business.
flat earth did, right?
Yep.
To you, I'm saying that.
Yep.
And me too. I wasn't an atheist, but I wasn't on fire.
Yeah. And so because of that is why I have a small child that's coming in and petitioning to watch Bible studies on her own. That would have never, and I'm guaranteeing this to everyone listening, that would have never happened if I was running this joint as an atheist a few years ago without the flat earth influence.
And you're not saying you'd be like a bad dad or a bad father figure that's not what you're saying, because I think a lot of people would take it like that, where they're like, well, you're saying an atheist can't take care of his family or guide his children, right? No, that's not what you're saying. You're just saying that the direction that you're going is entirely different. I mean, you were nurturing and caring before, just much before human beings. Being a parent to a child is natural. And
and I was more so speaking to the Christians, where, like, I'm not a Christian parent with a kid that wants to watch Bible stories because I keep telling them I want you to watch Bible stories and blah 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 blah. Like, it's not me as a Christian parent teaching the child. They want to do it on their own because I taught them about the flat earth. And they know
the truth.
Yeah, and they know what they're standing in, and they know what they're dealing with. And so
I always think of Nathan, just his kids. They're so bright. I mean, the stuff that comes out of their mouth is just a lot. It's good stuff, and it's because, like, I think that they have a better understanding of this world than than every adult. And I think, like, I think, because me and you, what are we talking about? And I'm like trying to say, yeah, but this looks so real. And you're like, no, fake. And I'm like, part of this is real. I'm not saying it's real, but it's partly real. And she's like, can I watch a Bible story? But think about that. Think about that. I'm like, am I trying to learn from God when I'm talking about how fake or real something? No, I'm not really. I'm just saying, like, that innocence and that she's ready to go be entertained by something about that'll teach her. And I'm just saying there's an innocence that children have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's something that our world just ruins.
Yeah, it's God's natural refreshment that he gives us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And most people just, they won't drink. They won't drink from that fountain of that innocence with their own kids. Yeah.
And that's, I think, well, just these, I did a video where I was in the ISS this week.
I saw that one.
But I recorded they did an interview. I don't know if it was on the 10th or what day it was. They did an interview and I recorded it and just recorded all the questions that the kids were asking off of there. And that one question that I like, that was great. Who comes up with questions like that? She asked, how does it feel to know you're in a piece of metal, or if you're floating in a piece of metal in a vast, or what did she say? In a dark, endless void.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's exactly what it is. It's you know what? One verse, and then we'll probably close it off after this. One verse. Right. Jude, verse 13. And I'm not going to read the whole verse. I'm just going to read the last sentence in the verse. Wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about. What, like, I believe that they're going into that black darkness and they're measuring their cosmic rays and they're measuring their they're sending satellites up there, but nothing's orbiting. It's all just devils playing tricks, like, like the string puppets or whatever, like playing with the ISS. Just, I don't know. It's celestial. It's not even real. Like, it's not even a place. How?
Yeah. And on those high altitude balloon flights, all the stars vanish. It's weird.
And even I just think that the stars are just flying in the firmament, which is like, you couldn't even reach your hand into the firmament because because you couldn't look from the firmament unless you were celestial. Like, but if God allows them to put a tin can up there for the last 20 years, allows Satan to, I mean, that's basically what's happened. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will ascend to the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's,
that is interesting.
It's a fallen angel.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I suppose, should we head out then?
Yeah.
You got anything else to add?
No, thanks for having me again. That was fun.
Yeah, thanks for chatting. It's always enjoyable.
All right.
And thank Arya again.
Will do.
All right.
And I'll keep an eye out for the Genesis one.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that right now.
To see people's thoughts on that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's funny. You guys gotta watch it.
Very cool.
All right. Thank you, Alan.
Take care now.
Thank you guys for all watching.
Yeah, bye-bye, everybody.
See you later.